actually center more around, let's say more, but there's a lot of emotional sobriety content in them because it came, it's stuff that is either from the big book or the 12 and 12 or letters he wrote later. And basically, while he was later in his recovery journey, kind of realizing that it's more than just stopping drinking and stopping doing drugs. It's actually about a spiritual recovery path that involves a huge psychic change about the way that we view the world and the way that we view other people and the way we interact with the world and our habits. And I really like As Bill Sees It because it has an index of topics, so you can look in the front and kind of see what do I need to know about today. What do I need to know about today? And then you can find a reading that corresponds with the topics. So my home group, which I personally recommend folks get one of those. My home group is an As Bill Sees It meeting, meaning the chairperson of the meeting picks a topic and 3 readings from As Bill Sees It, and then we read them as a group, and each person kind of responds, and the chairperson obviously has a chance to go first, sharing their insights on the topic. And I wanted to do the topic of one day at a time, because I think if you don't pick up today, no matter what, you will be sober. All you have to do today is not drink and not pick up, and if you can do that, you're on the right path. But sometimes we have a slip, and then it's more about continuing to come back and not give up. But just don't give up no matter what. Don't pick up, don't give up, don't pick up, don't give up, don't pick up, don't give up, don't pick up, don't pick up, don't pick up, don't give up, don't pick up, don't give up. So I wanted to pick a topic one day at a time. They don't technically have that in the index. They have 24-hour living. I was like, is there like a keeping it simple? But there really isn't. So, the 24-hour living is kind of where I started, and then I supplemented what was there with readings that were helping me to keep things one day at a time, which at the time I was really struggling with some depression. And having a hard time exercising weirdly, which I do think that it's interesting that in later letters, Bill is very upfront with his struggles with depression and the way, in very practical manners that he dealt with them. So I found some readings that felt very practical for keeping things one day at a time. And one of the readings also touches on creative expression as it relates to keeping it simple one day at a time. And making changes in our lives. It's one day at a time. You have to keep it simple. And there are little things For some reason or other, the Lord has laid out tougher paths for some of us, and I guess you are treading one of them. You are treading one of them. God is not asking us to be successful. He is only asking us to try to be. That you surely are doing and have been doing that you surely are doing and have been doing. So I would not stay away from AA through any feeling of discouragement or shit. It's just the place you should be. Why don't you try just as a member? You don't have to carry the whole AA on your back, you know. It is not always the quantity of good things that you do, it is also the quality that counts. It is not always the quantity of good things you do, it is also the quality that counts above all. Above all. Take it one day at a time, 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 one day at a time. Above all. I love the emphasis in this reading on the importance of continuing to come back, on the importance of progress and not perfection. All I have to do today is be willing to grow and change, that's it. Just be willing to grow and change, that's it. Just be willing and keep coming back. I love, why don't you try just as a member? Why don't you try just as a member? You don't have to revolutionize every group that you're a part of. You just have to keep showing up and keep coming back. You just have to keep showing up and keep coming back. God is not asking us to be successful. He is only asking us to try to be. That you are surely doing. You are surely doing and have been doing. Above all, take it one day at a time, 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 one day at a time. Walking towards serenity, number 92. When I was tired and couldn't concentrate, I used to fall back on an affirmation toward life that took the form of simple walking and deep breathing. I sometimes told myself that I couldn't do even this, that I was too weak, but I learned that this was the point at which I could not give in without becoming still more depressed. So I would set myself a small stint. I would determine to walk a quarter of a mile, and I would concentrate by counting my breathing, say 6 steps to each slow inhalation and 4 to each exhalation. Having done the quarter mile, I found that I could go on maybe a half mile more, then another half mile, and maybe another. This was encouraging. The false sense of physical weakness would leave me, this feeling being so characteristic of depressions. The walking and especially the breathing were powerful affirmations toward life and living and away from failure and death. The counting represented a minimum discipline and concentration to get some rest from the wear and tear of fear and guilt. That's from a letter, 1960. And so I love this because it shows me that Bill Wilson also struggled with depression in a way that is characteristic of folks who suffer from addiction even after our drug of choice, our drink of choice, whatever it is removed. It doesn't mean that you are cured, that you have no more ailments, that your brain is perfect. I think at first a lot of folks think, oh, I will stop drinking and everything will just get better. And while that might be true for the first 3 months to a year, your life starts coming back to you. But after a period of time, for me, I realized it's more than just not drinking. I had this theory that if I don't pick up today, no matter what, I'll be fine. And that is ultimately true. I will be better than if I do pick up. But there were too many days where I was saying, well, all I have to do is not pick up today. And so maybe that means I go home from work and all I do is shower and go to bed because I'm just not going to pick up today, and that's where I'm at. I'm keeping it simple. And there were certainly times where that mentality of keeping it simple, of coming home from work, taking a shower, and going to bed kept me sober. But over time, if that's all I'm doing, it is going to feel and look and be as though it is depression because you're not really doing very much. And so for me, getting in, okay, I will go for a walk and then I'll shower and then I'll go to bed. And this 1960s letter is what mindfulness is. He's speaking about mindfulness that many of us probably learned about at IOPs and PHPs and in our rehabs of choice, where they say, oh, mindfully walk, oh, mindfully breathe, oh, count your steps. And we're like, that's absolute bananas. I'm not doing that. That's not going to help me. But here is the man who created AA, struggling 30-something years after stopping drinking with depression, while being of the utmost use and saving so many individuals and their families, and still feeling guilt and remorse and pain and suffering. And so it is a human condition to face and to battle depression. It is very much a part of the human experience. And there are practical methods that this reading helped me to remember. And so I thought it was like a perfect example of one day at a time. It's literally sometimes one step at a time, 1/4 mile at a time, one breath at a time, to get me on the right track. It starts with not picking up today no matter what. I keep it going with one day at a time. But there are things I need to do throughout the day to keep my sanity. So I really enjoyed this one. And if you're struggling with depression out there, you are not. There's hope for you. There's hope for you. I am someone who also has been there. And while I am no expert or professional, and there are certainly a lot of those out there that I encourage you to seek if you're really struggling, just know, from one individual human on the planet Earth to another, you are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. This next one is 157. Imagination can be constructive, and it comes from the 12 and 12 on page 100, which I happen to know is step 11. So this is from step 11. So through prayer and meditation to increase or improve our conscious contact with God as we understood God, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to imagination can be constructive. We recall a little ruefully, how much store we used to set by imagination as it tried to create reality out of bottles. Yes, we reveled in that sort of thinking, didn't we? And those sober nowadays, don't we often try to do much the same thing? Perhaps our trouble was not that we used our imagination. Perhaps the real trouble was our almost total inability to point imagination toward the right objectives. There's nothing the matter with truly constructive imagination. All sound achievements rest upon it. After all, no person can build a house until they first vision a plan for it. No person can build a house until they first vision a plan for it. I chose this in the spirit of keeping it simple and creative expression, as someone who embarks in the artist's way from time to time, morning pages. And I realize that in our society, we get a lot of visuals around the way that drugs and alcohol can set us free to be creative, etc., etc. But really, at the end of the day, it's holding us back. And so it's up to us to create new visualizations where we don't have to destroy our bodies to set our minds free. We don't need to alter chemically anything to reach a new level of spiritual, existence, right? Like, meditation is free, and it's right there, and it's extremely helpful for creative expression, but visualization is the start. And so the morning pages from Julia Cameron's Artist's Way really helped me to start manifesting the future that I wanted to see for myself. within 1 month of doing the morning pages, not even as consistently as I should, right? It's like every day. It's like, okay, I try. But within 1 month, I had quit smoking. And because I was like, every day I was like sitting down and writing about how I wanted to quit smoking. And that like contemplation stage of change, if you will, for my clinicians out there, that putting it on paper and seeing it every day and going like, oh, I guess I really do want to quit smoking. It helped me to start visualizing and using my imagination for good. And then I started writing about how I wanted to get back into exercise. And now I'm back into exercise. I thought this was not even more. This was like 2 months ago. I thought I was never gonna exercise again. I was like, I'm just gonna die a couch potato. And I'm back. I'm back, baby. I'm so back. But the depression was really real. Like the previous reading, I was like having a hard time doing literally anything. And then I started using my imagination in constructive ways to picture myself exercising, to picture myself quitting smoking, to picture myself, it was the third one. The third bit, well, right now I want to build a fire pit at my house. And I keep writing about it, but it hasn't happened yet. Someone suggested I start a Pinterest board about it. And that, like, Pinterest board, like, Tumblr mood vibe situation is a way of using imagination to, like, visualize. And I was like, okay, we'll see if that works. I thought that was really great. And that came from page 100 of the 12 and 12, which I happen to have here. Makes extremely good sounds, honestly. Actual experience of meditation and prayer across the centuries is, of course, immense. The world's libraries and places of worship are a treasure trove for all seekers. It is hoped that every AA who has a religious connection which emphasizes meditation will return to the practice of that devotion as never before. But what about the rest of us who, less fortunate, don't even know how to begin? Well, we might start like this. First, let's look at a really good prayer. We won't have far to seek. The great men and women of all religions have left us a wonderful supply. Here, let us consider one that is classic. Its author was a man who for several hundred years now has been rated as a saint. We won't be biased or scared off by that fact because, although he was not an alcoholic, he did, like us, go through the emotional ringer. And as he came out the other side of that painful experience, this prayer was his expression of what he could then see, feel, and wish to become. And I happen to know it is St. Francis. This is the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred I may bring love, that where there is wrong I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is error I may bring truth, that where there is doubt I may bring faith, that where there is despair I may bring hope, that where there are shadows I may bring light, that where there is sadness I may bring joy, Lord. Grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved, for it is by self-forgetting that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. Amen. As beginners in meditation, we might now reread this prayer several times, very slowly, savoring every word and trying to take in the deep meaning of each phrase and idea. It will help if we can drop all resistance to what our friend says, for in meditation, debate has no place. We rest quietly with the thoughts of someone who knows, so that we may experience and learn. As though lying upon a sunlit beach, let us relax and breathe deeply of the spiritual atmosphere with which the grace of this prayer surrounds us. Let us become willing to partake and be strengthened and lifted up by the sheer spiritual power, beauty, and love, of which these magnificent words are the carriers. Let us look now upon the sea and ponder what its mystery is, and let us lift our eyes to the far horizon, beyond which we shall seek all those wonders still unseen. Shucks, says somebody, this is nonsense. It isn't practical. And that's when the reading about imagination comes in. After all, no person can build a house until they first envision a plan for it. Well, meditation is like that too. It helps to envision our spiritual objective before we try to move toward it. So let's go back to that sunlit beach, or to the plains, or to the mountains if you prefer. When, by such simple devices, we have placed ourselves in a mood in which we can focus undisturbed on constructive imagination, we might proceed like this. Once more, we read our prayer and again try to see what its inner essence is. We'll think now about the man who first uttered the prayer, Francis. First of all, he wanted to become a channel. Then he asked for the grace to bring love, forgiveness, harmony, truth, faith, hope, light, and joy to every human being he could. Next came the expression of an aspiration and a hope for himself. He hoped, God willing, that he might be able to find some of these treasures too. This he would try to do by what he called self-forgetting. What did he mean by self-forgetting, and how did he propose to accomplish that? He thought it better to give comfort than to receive it, better to understand than to be understood, better to forgive than to be forgiven. This much could be a fragment of what is called meditation. Perhaps our first attempt at a mood, a flyer into the realm of spirit, if you like. It ought to be followed by a good look at where we stand now, and a further look at what might happen in our lives were we able to move closer to the ideal we have been trying to glimpse. Meditation is something which can always be further developed. It has no boundaries, either of width or height. Aided by such instruction and example as we can find, it is essentially an individual adventure, something which each one of us works out in his own way, but its object is always the same: to improve our conscious contact with God, with grace, wisdom, and love. And let's always remember that meditation is in reality intensely practical. One of its first fruits is emotional balance. With it, we can broaden and deepen the channel between ourselves and God as we understand God. Deepen the channel between ourselves and God as we understand God. Okay, last but not least, we have one final reading on the topic of mundane time. And it's one that might be familiar to some of you. Morning thoughts. It's from page 86 and 87. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity and from dishonest or self-seeking motives. Free of these, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be on a higher plane when our thinking begins to be cleared of wrong motives. often surprised how the right answers come after we have tried this for a while. We usually conclude our meditation with a prayer that we be shown all through the day what our next step is to be, asking especially for freedom from damaging self-will. Freedom from damaging self-will. This is so practical. You can use it every day to start your day. It is on awakening. It is directly related to the work that comes in step 11. I've heard it said that you can start to work any step that starts with a 1 the day that you put down your drink of choice. Right? You can immediately start trying to rewire your brain with these meditative practices right away. You don't have to wait. Obviously, it's easier if you have a sponsor and a home group and people to rely on and ask questions for. I don't recommend doing anything alone. For me, when I do it alone, it just doesn't work. I don't stick with it, really, is what happens. Or I hit a roadblock and then give up and or beat myself up. I'm I'm not doing it good enough. I'm not doing it often enough. Oh, I missed a day, might as well drink. That kind of sick cycle is really, really relatable to me. I fall into that, I didn't do it perfect, so might as well just give up. And that is honestly really self-centered thinking, and it is defeatist, and it hurts the people around me that I could be being a role model to. I could be learning from my mistakes and teaching others, and instead I'm well, I got nothing to teach. It's messing up, making mistakes. Those are valuable experiences. And this is so valuable for me today to hear that if I have 2 courses to take, if I have to determine which of 2 courses to take, I can ask God for inspiration. I can ask God for an intuitive thought. I can ask God for a decision. And then I can just relax. And I can just take it easy. I can just ask. And then I can just take it easy. And this, according to this reading, I will be surprised by how the right answers will come to me after I've tried this for a while. And if I pair the very practical guidance from page 100 in the 12 and 12 about meditation with the prayer after the meditation, that I be shown through the day what our next step is to be, asking especially for freedom from damaging self-will. If I pair those things together, then ultimately I can be of service to others, even better than I could have ever imagined. And every day I start with the third step prayer. I'm still a work in progress for my meditation practice. But every day I do the third step prayer, and it goes like this. It goes, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me, and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help. Of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life, may I do thy will always. May I do thy will always. Mi affresco a ti, mi affresco a ti, mi affresco a ti. Thank you for joining me on this journey through As Bill Sees It. A little sentimental reading from the 11 in the day, 24-hour living, one day at a time, 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 never giving up. It is progress, not perfection.